Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? Here it is, November 16th, halfway through the month, and we're just waiting on our good friend Uncle Gutty to show up. I saw him flash in for a moment. He might be having some technical difficulties. We are old men. He may have had to empty the old man bladder. Who knows? He may have had to take the dogs outside to empty their bladders. Who knows? We assume he'll be here momentarily. Until then, how's everyone doing tonight? Drop a comment if you're here. Say hello. Excuse me. And we'll have some fun tonight. The discussion tonight was planned to be war movies. We decided on that topic last Old Man Theater because we were discussing Remembrance Day, and we were discussing how fast it seemed the Christmas stuff was coming out and being promoted, and myself and Uncle Gutty were kind of the mindset that you don't promote Christmas until after Remembrance Day or Veterans Day in the States. Excuse me. So we decided that we would talk about some of our favorite war movies. I see him. Is he coming? There we are.
Have down me the stage, dude.
Well, you can do that yourself with that.
I had to log back in. So basically, I was a guest. I had to log back into what I was doing before, actually, which was funny as all heck.
Oh, okay. I noticed that a lot of the slides were missing today. My standard please stand by slide was gone. I had to find it again.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, I deleted a bunch of slides as well just because there was a bunch of old crap in there. So I think that there's a finite number that you can have.
Okay, well, fair enough, basically.
Yeah.
But I did prepare slides tonight.
All right, you're on top of things.
Well, I thought you were gonna show me, but I guess apparently not. So real quick.
No.
But
how could I show you?
We're gonna talk about war movies and slash TV shows. And as I was doing some research.
Yeah, I was briefly explaining why we came upon that topic, because we were talking about Remembrance Day and Christmas, and the thought that you don't celebrate Christmas until or advertise Christmas until after Remembrance Day or Veterans Day.
Use a rule of thumb.
The old rule of thumb. The new rule of thumb just seems to ignore that. There was Christmas displays in the dollar stores around September, long before any Thanksgiving.
Walmart too, actually. It was out there like you would not believe.
Yeah. Excuse me. But so we decided to talk about some of our favorite war movies.
Mm-hmm. I was doing some research for this because I've seen a lot of war movies and TV shows.
Yep.
And as it turns out, I don't like watching them. like I've seen them, I've enjoyed them, but they're not something I'm gonna rush out to say I want to see right now. I'm gonna throw in,
I don't think that I have seen a war movie in theaters. Really?
Well,
I don't think I have. I mean, unless you count things like Star Trek VI.
Well, I've seen Schindler's List.
Okay.
I've seen 1917. I've seen Master Commander: First Side of the World. That's technically a war movie. I guess.
Yep.
But a lot of the ones I really have not seen in theaters, I can think off the top of my head. One part of it is movies go in themes, right? We have pirate movies, we have dinosaur movies, we have space movies, we have war movies, right? They all go upon the taste of the public. War movies have not been in vogue in a very long time.
They're a sensitive subject, and I would argue, or maybe not argue, but think now, with the world teetering the way it is, maybe a little more sensitive.
Absolutely.
It's a very hard thing to glorify. I mean, back in the day, you had the John Wayne movies and all that stuff, and they were rah rah gung ho, sis boom ba, let's go.
Propaganda.
Hero and kick the bad guy's ass, and that was propaganda.
And 70s was basically counterculture against Vietnam. We did have movies in the 70s, but they were kind of technically anti-war movies to a degree.
Yeah.
And then the 80s, 90s brought us, how do you put it, dramatization of Vietnam. You know,
The,
the gritty war movie was
every era goes through its own own war that it chooses to cover or whatever, right? I mean, I don't think there were a whole lot of World War One movies, really.
No.
A lot of World War Two, obviously, but that's also a sign of the times because the technology wasn't really there to do a lot of these movies back then. I mean,
World War One was not exactly that exciting.
Well, it was 1917, 1918, and all that. So, movie technology wasn't what it was in the 40s and 50s.
And I would argue too is that, like in the 50s and 60s we had World War II movies because you weren't that far removed from World War II. Like in the 70s and 80s, we had a lot of Vietnam movies. We weren't that far removed from Vietnam, and it was still kind of
it was fresh.
Yeah.
Well, if you consider one of the most successful war franchises of all time, MASH.
Yes.
That was the Korean War.
Broadcast basically just after the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And then as you got into the 2000s, it got a little weird because we got like Saving Private Ryan, Pearl Harbor. They weren't so much war tales as basically war as a backdrop to what was going on.
Yeah.
And then nowadays you'll hardly see a modern war film. Like we are getting Napoleon, which is technically a bit of like Napoleonic Wars. Well, it's more about Napoleon himself than anything, right? And Ridley Scott said it's not historically accurate. So
and I don't think you expect it to be historically accurate, do you?
No, Ridley Scott's been known to take liberties, and he understands like this is.
I was just saying, Gladiator was very inaccurate.
This is a drama. Yeah, this is a drama. Documentary says this is a movie kind of thing. So that's where it comes from. But I've seen a lot of war movies. Of course, growing up in the 80s, there was a lot of war movies. You know.
Yeah, and like you said, the Vietnam ones kind of inspired. Well, you had Platoon, and you had Full Metal Jacket, and all that stuff.
Yep.
You had Rambo, who was I don't remember if he was a veteran of Vietnam or was it Korea? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then you had the Chuck Norris stuff, Missing in Action, and things like that.
And that was basically the Soldier of Fortune films, who are basically, I'm an ex-Vietnam vet. Now I'm doing this for. So it's a step removed from war. So it's a way of doing a war film without bringing war into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Same thing.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, though, now that I'm thinking about it, is that they tend to glorify the era they're setting. Like now we're getting, I would argue, a few Desert Storm movies, like Three Kings and stuff like that, Black Hawk Down.
Hurt
Locker. Absolutely. Sniper.
Was Afghanistan? I can't remember now.
I can't remember either, but in that area, but they are basically movies set in times
in times that we remember from the news.
Conflicts we remember basically.
Yeah, because a lot of them that they covered or that we've seen, we weren't old enough really to remember or to know about them.
No. Right? No, exactly. Like if I show Taya Platoon or Full Metal Jacket, that's my eldest at 26. She had no clue. It's like showing me a World War I film when I was that age. I had no clue, basically, right? Because it wasn't in my time frame. But I went through. So I've seen a lot of war films from the last 4 decades.
Yeah,
like the Big Red One, Bridge of the River Kwai, A Bridge Too Far. It goes on and on and on and on. They're not in my top 5, whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
I watched them.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the spectacle of them.
Yep.
But I didn't like, this is awesome. You know, this is glorious. This is more like some of it was depressing.
Yeah. Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia is just a crap film. Well, no, it's not a crap film.
It was a fantastic movie.
I was thinking Ishtar, sorry.
Yeah. So a little, but depressing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, gosh, that's the theme that's come up in my movies I'm going to talk about tonight. Is a lot of them are like, I watched them once. I probably won't watch them again because they're just too depressing. Like I watched 1917. That was that World War was it one? Yeah, World
Yeah.
War One film that was staged, looked like it was shot in one continuous take.
Yeah.
It's a technical marvel, but it is a friggin' depressing film.
Yeah. Saving Private Ryan is pretty sad.
Yeah.
Schindler's List. Not a good date movie, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Very somber, depressing topics.
Yep. And for example, talk about World War One. Paul Gross, King Icon.
Yep.
Made Passchendaele.
Yeah.
And it is a very slow, boring film. But the biggest payoff is at the end, where we actually see Canadians fighting in trench warfare, which I don't ever think ever happened. Has never happened in film before. It was the first time us Canadians in World War One were depicted. That's where we became basically a country, they say, in their world, in their thing kind of thing. Total side note, basically, I just thought about random battles, like Pearl Harbor movies that we've seen, obviously. D-Day landings. I'm trying to think of any D-Day landings. I guess Saving Private Ryan, I think. Let's go back, basically. Anyways. But I've got a slideshow if you want to see a slideshow. I know you're getting some stuff ready here.
I would love to see your slideshow.
I'm bringing it up here. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Okay, at the stage. Now, Mr. Pemquats and Hemi did make noise about including a TV series. They have a favorite TV series out there.
No, okay.
So I did include that. And once again, I tried to pick my top 5 favorite.
Okay.
And of course, I did some honorable mentions.
What makes it a favorite for you? To rewatch it, or just the way the subject matter hits you, or
it's more basically a combination of both. Can I rewatch it? Is it entertaining, or was it basically a work of art? The way it hit me, kind of thing. That's why I put it on the list as like the Big Red one. I enjoy it, but I'm not going to sit down and watch all the time.
Right.
I love A Bridge Too Far, but it's just
too
long.
long
To watch it. Yeah, too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll see the bit going here. You'll kind of back up.
Yep.
Band of Brothers.
Yep. Was this the TV show you added?
This is the TV show I added.
Yep.
Because everybody raves about this. Produced by Tom Hanks. It set a high benchmark for other war series that are done before it. It's well produced. It's well made. It also is held that it's based upon the 101st Airborne Division, which actually a guy kept a diary of their missions and stuff. So this and there was a PC game called Brothers in Arms, set in World War II, where you played squads of the 101st Airborne. So again, because these writings that were left behind helped get the narrative right. They say that this film is about 80% incorrect. this show is 80% incorrect. It's heavily dramatized. But having said all that, it is well produced, it is well written, and it is entertaining. Is it hard to watch? At times it can be.
Yeah.
But it is entertaining.
They also had The Pacific after that, right? Which was a
same
vein, a follow-up. I want to say it was Hanks and Spielberg again.
It was.
And isn't there another one coming out?
I think so.
Yep.
But I had to throw us on the list because a lot of people like Band of Brothers, and I will say Band of Brothers is good.
Yep.
Just because it's I wouldn't say it's realistic, but it's probably a proper portrayal of World War II.
I was going to say it might not be realistic, but it's powerful and conveys some of what did happen, even if it's not historically accurate.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's realistic, but not accurate.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep.
Full Metal Jacket. Again, we know Arlie Emery as the barking drill sergeant. It is the last of Stanley Kubrick's films to be released during his lifetime, believe it or not.
I did not realize that. I thought that he had done stuff between that because he died just before Eyes Wide Shut.
No, this is what they said.
Eyes Wide Shut was 2012 or 2013 or something like that, wasn't it?
Like that, yeah. But no, this is what they said. Based upon a novel called The Short Timers. I like it.
Eyes Wide Shut, sorry, it was 1999. Wow, okay.
Yep. But like I said, Arlie Emery, he made the movie with his drill sergeant. Everybody was impersonating him. The portrayal of the soldiers was like they said, was pretty close to what happened. Really, it was just absolutely brutal. There's a lot of lines from here that people repeat. Zuzu Pebbles as the Chinese Sex Worker, Me Love You Long Time Joe.
Yep.
Another trivia too was the drill sergeant, Arlie Emery, was brought as a consultant.
Yeah.
To help train other actors to do the drill sergeant, and they couldn't do it. Okay,
So
he said,
he said, let's just have you do it.
Well, he said, convince me. And he basically made Kubrick sit down and stand up. And he goes, you're in, of his barks and stuff. So after that, though, he was in a lot of other films as the drill sergeant, obviously, like The Frighteners. He had a TV series where he'd actually showcase weapons of war and stuff like that. So hats off to him. But like I said, I like it because of its brutality and its rawness for Vietnam. And it's just a classic Kubrick film. Now, top 5 war movies and TV in no particular order.
Okay.
Schindler's List. I've watched this movie twice in my whole life. Once in theaters, once at home with I think either Shree or my dad. It's
be a difficult rewatch.
It is, like I said, Spielberg was basically just drained. He was filming this thing. Ron Williams would call him to cheer him up, and he's credited his family for keeping them buoyant. It is a powerful, dark film that conveys the horror of the Holocaust, and shot in black and white. To me, it's on my favorite list because it's a powerful film. It's Spielberg's probably one of his best shot films, and you can't come away not watch this without feeling something. In most cases, basically.
Yeah. It really cemented Liam Neeson on the board there.
100%.
Yep.
Pardon me. Spielberg edited Jurassic Park while he was doing this, which is funny.
Yep.
All right, but yeah, like I said, it's like the joke. I like Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
I like the film. I've seen it twice, but I want to watch it again, but I can't because it's just I cannot watch this descent into, darkness basically.
Yeah.
Kelly's Heroes, obviously.
Yeah,
be one of your picks, right? It's funny.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood sung the theme song. Apparently, John Landis was a production assistant and an extra in this film.
Okay.
Filmed in Yugoslavia because the army had tanks, still had Sherman tanks in operation in the 70s. But basically, it's about these U.S. Soldiers who get word of gold being holed up in a town. They go to get it and have to encounter the Germans and all that. It's funny. And it's more of the performances. Like you can call Clint Eastwood all you want, but to me, Donald Sutherland is oddball. Man,
he was fantastic.
He cracks me up.
You also had Telly Savalas. You also had Carol O'Connor,
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles. Yep.
Yeah, I like this one just because it's a fun, lighthearted romp, and there are some pretty damn good tank battles with it. I like a good tank battle.
I was going to say it's also probably fairly realistic, even though it's humorous and light, but on the way that things got done in the army, like I'll trade you this for that and all that sort of stuff.
100%, no question about that. And I bet you whoever watches someone knew an Oddball or an Eastwood or whatever. Absolutely, there's no question about that.
Or a Rickles who was like procurement officer or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This one I don't watch that often just because I don't think I have access to it. Yep. But when I was on cable, I always would watch it. I'd sit and watch it.
Yep.
Let's see here. MASH. Like you, I encountered the TV show before I encountered the movie, obviously, because it's in the 70s.
Yep.
Set, like I said, during the Korean War.
Was Robert Altman, right? So, yeah.
Yep. It was meant as a commentary against the Vietnam War, believe it or not.
Yep.
Basically a black comedy. Very trouble production.
The movie wasn't really a conducive story. It was like 3 or 4 short stories set in the framework of the MASH movie.
Pretty much. Yeah,
because like there was the one episode where they had to go get a surgeon from out of town or something like that to come in and save somebody, and then they end up having a football game at the end.
Exactly.
And like those two have nothing to do with each other, but
And it was a trouble reduction. There was a cast dispute between the cast and director.
Yep.
Fight over the screenplay, which probably led to them all the multiple, stories, whatever. But it was their highest grossing film of 1970.
Yep.
And I enjoy watching it. Again,
Yeah.
it's not a film I want to trot out to watch because again, it's
Yep.
it's dark. It's a dark, heavy subject.
Some of the cast from the movie went on to the TV show. Not many.
No.
I think it was only Radar, wasn't it?
That was it. Gary Berghoff. That was it.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. Because who played Hollips in the movie? Was it Sally Kellerman in the movie or in the TV show? Loretta Swit was the TV show.
It was a TV show.
I think it was Sally Kellerman in the movie, right?
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah.
It's funny though. I didn't put. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Obviously, the doctors were different because you had Donald Sutherland and Elliot Gould, who were replaced by Alan Alda and the other guy,
Trapper John guy, the Trapper John guy.
Trapper John guy. Yep.
But, it's funny though. I didn't put the TV show on here because I try to keep it to 5.
Yep.
I'd watch the TV show almost religiously when I was in university. Yep. It was on 3 times a day. Excuse me.
Do you remember who played Father Mulcahy in the movie?
No, of course I don't.
No. We met him at Niagara Falls Comic Con.
Wilford Brimley?
Odo.
Oh. Was it Renee Archibald?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes.
That's right now too.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
But yeah, like it's funny though because I think people have fonder memory of the TV show than they do of the movie.
Yeah. Well, also based on the time, right? 1970. You only saw a movie once. Or maybe twice if it came back around, or if it ended up being on TV because there were no video stores and its theatrical run and that's it.
Like I said, it probably wasn't until about 82 you could watch this on a VHS tape.
Yeah,
that's 12 years. But the TV show ran forever. I didn't put the list because I thought that was obvious.
Yep.
Yeah, I enjoy watching. I still do enjoy watching it.
Yep.
What else have I got on this magical thing here? Hamburger Hill.
Okay.
Actually, this is the missed title. That's my next slide. This is supposed to be the Dirty Dozen.
The wrong picture.
Wrong title, yeah. The Dirty Dozen.
Yep.
67 it came out. All-star cast. You had Lee Marvin, Charles Bronson, Jim Brown, and
Charles Bronson was a fantastic actor. He really was.
And a lot of these people actually were in World War II.
Yeah.
Basically, this plot about these 12 convicts they're sent to go kill Hitler. Made a lot of money. It was a huge hit. It's actually a fun watch. Lee Marvin called this film crap and just a dumb money maker. Of course, the Heartbreak Ridge. That's what I'm going to say. That's right.
Heartbreak Ridge was a fantastic. I really enjoyed that movie, and they said that only Clint Eastwood could take a nothing property or a nothing event like Grenada and turn it into a movie like that.
Spoilers, if you haven't seen this film, it's basically based upon one event where the guy used a personal credit card to make a call for an airstrike, which really did happen. And you were right. I put on point number 3. This is way better than it should be.
Yeah.
Thanks to Eastwood directing, producing, and starring in it.
Yeah.
This of all the films I have on the list, I could watch this one easily again. I could pop it in right now. I think I'll watch it.
Yep.
His performance is good. He calls it the most Eastwood performance you've seen.
Yep.
And it actually opened second at the box office behind Star Trek for The Voyage Home.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's one of Eastwood's favorite films. I like it. And I like I said, I'd watch it. I'd pop this one in to watch it. Of all the films I have on this list, I'd pop it in.
Yep.
Like I said, there's a lot of stuff I left the list. I've never seen Saving Pratt Ryan. Sue me. I didn't get around to seeing All Quiet on the Western Front that won the Oscar recently. I didn't get around to seeing that one. There was stuff like Stalingrad, which is a sniper battle. Charged Light Brigade.
Enemy at the Gate.
Enemy at the Gates. If you want to get a TV show, like I can talk about the Sharp series, which is basically set during the Napoleonic Wars. Yep. There's a lot I left to list. I have seen, like I said, I've seen a lot of war movies and TV shows, but I just don't. I don't know. I'll watch it if I'm kind of stumbling across it, I might get in the mood. I might watch like Heartbreak Ridge or Kelly's Heroes, but I'm not going to go pull it off my shelf and throw it in to start watching because I don't know. Just think about them. I can't say they don't appeal to me, but I'm just not in the mood for them.
Not these days. No. It's kind of hard to glorify it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, those are my picks.
Okay. All right. I've got some picks with all my massive preparedness. As you heard me clicking.
I was stalling for you, so you get the slide.
That's okay. I have to agree with you about Kelly's Heroes. It was a fantastically fun movie, and just oddball, zany enough to possibly be true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I focused more on TV shows really because I found a lot of TV shows, but more on the comedy side. Like we already spoke about MASH, but shows like Sergeant Bilko were fantastic because the dialogue was just so crisp and funny, and these weren't set in war times. This was set in conventional America. Just having Phil Silvers showcase his comedic talents with the backdrop of being on an army base. And like being a con man and a lazy guy, and because he was, I can't remember what he did in real life before, but he got drafted and didn't want to be there. But he rose through the ranks of the motor pool and became Sergeant Bilko, and he made the most of it, trying to make as much money for himself and his team as he could, mostly for himself. But
people like that. When I think of that too, I might think of Gomer Pyle. Right.
Yep.
Now, what was the other one? Two other war type TV show like that.
Another
McHale's Navy. Yeah,
McHale's Navy with Ernest Borgnine.
Yep.
And Tim Conway was another very fun show, fun property. This one actually set in wartime, set in World War II. First couple seasons, they were fighting the Japanese, and then I can't remember the third and fourth or just the fourth season, but they ended up going to Italy.
Oh,
and the Mediterranean or whatever, and they were there. I don't know why they changed it. The show suffered, I think, when they did.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a very funny show. And again, showcasing the talents of some really good actors and some really clever writing.
Did you
and kind of, I was going to say the comedy shows like this kind of, because the shows weren't, or the war story weren't that far removed from our memories or the audience's memories at the time. I think they were kind of therapeutic to kind of bring some lightness into it, because it was a very serious thing.
I wonder if there's a bit of nostalgia too, because people did serve, right?
Yeah,
so they could relate to that to a degree.
Yeah, I mean, your grandfather served in World War II. Yeah. Yep, my great uncle was in World War II. Both my great uncles on my mother's and my father's side were in World War II, and I only ever knew one of these uncles. My Uncle Joe, who was my mother's uncle, and he never spoke of the war. And at his funeral, it was brought up that he served in World War II, but that he didn't like to talk about it, never did. I mean, as kids, we had no idea that he was ever in the army or anything like that. Not a clue. But as we grew up or whatever, I mean, it was never let out or slipped out or anything like that. But then our grandparents would show us the pictures or whatever of him and stuff like that, in his uniform and things like that.
Yeah. My grandfather was the same way. He was in the war. He didn't speak much about it. I got lucky near the end of his life. I started playing a World War II war game. I kind of talked about the rifles and stuff. And that started him talking about the war, which he never did. And I heard a lot of his stories, and some of them were funny. A lot of them were quite bleak, actually.
Yeah.
Him describing, running across the road at night, watching people getting cut down with a machine gun because they mistimed it, like he was going for a walk in the park, was really poignant. But McHale's Navy, you must have saw the movie, right?
With Tom Arnold. I did not see it because I really like Ernest Borgnine.
He had a cameo in it.
He did. He did.
I did not mind it, actually.
Okay. All right.
I thought it was better than Down Periscope. I thought it was actually kind of good. Yeah, I thought it was kind of good, and it did kind of capture the spirit of McCable's Navy.
Yeah.
But I think if people are like, "What is this?" You know, if they would have done anything else with McCable's Navy, I think it could have been a decent comedy.
I think that one was too far removed from the original to be in the memory, because it had been a long time since the show was on, and I don't think it was in syndication really much at the time. So they were counting on some nostalgia and some memory that just wasn't there.
Well, exactly. Well, example, could you imagine making a Vietnam drama right now on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not as successful as it would be. They're all around the 90s.
Oh yeah. Like China Beach.
I was thinking that one exactly.
Dana Delaney there. That was a really good show, and it was kind of meant to be like a Vietnam mash, but not played for laughs like MASH was.
No, it's supposed to be deadly serious, actually.
Yeah. But again, set in a hospital and stuff like that, right? So
exactly.
Yep. Another show that I really enjoyed, and I know you did too, and the final scene of the final episode didn't leave a dry eye in the audience, because you were moved and touched by this one. Was Blackadder Goes Forth.
It was brilliant.
It was fantastic. Only 6 episodes, because all the Blackadders were just 6-episode seasons.
Oh.
And the first 5 episodes were definitely played for laughs. And there were definitely jokes in the last one, but it turned very dark and very somber at the very end.
Yep.
The first 5 episodes basically had Blackadder, Captain Blackadder, and Percy and Baldric there trying to keep their heads low and survive and try and get out of the army and out of the war as soon as they could.
Exactly.
But their plans did not work, no matter how cunning they were. And the finale, in the final episode, it was the over-the-top episode where they had to charge and do that. And they were cut down. Everyone was cut down. Yep.
That's what it was.
And it just showed you the pointlessness of that war, as they were climbing out of the trenches and running towards the enemy, charging, trying to gain 30 or 40 yards of territory.
I thought it was brilliant, the ending. Like I said, people said, well, it's not funny. It doesn't have to be. It
doesn't have
impact. And it left it. I think it left a longer memory of the series than what if they went and did it we're out, huzzah kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
No, absolutely brilliant.
Yep. And capped off by fantastic performances with Rowan Atkinson and Tony Robinson and Hugh Laurie.
Absolutely. And
Stephen Fry and Tim McInnery as well.
Absolutely.
Yep. I'll go with one more movie here. This is a movie actually that was a very good movie. I don't know how many people saw it because it was in Russian. It was T-34.
And this was it. I never watched it.
Fantastic tank movie.
I like a good tank movie.
If you like tank movies and tank battles, this is the one for you. Russian tank commanders and tank squads, they get in the battle with the Germans. They get taken prisoners of war. The Germans take them to train their tank squad after they abuse them for a while and all that, in prison, whatever. They kind of they give them some tanks to kind of train and use as target practice, basically. So, well, to be the targets for the German army.
Right.
But of course, the Russians are trying to escape, and they pull some shenanigans and make a daring escape plot with these tanks that the Germans have given them. And some of the battles up and down the streets of this town were just incredibly shot.
I'm gonna check it out because I love a good tank movie.
I highly recommend it.
Okay.
I'm going to say on IMDb, got a 6.8 out of 10, but let's see what it got on Rotten Tomatoes. On Rotten Tomatoes, it got an 83% audience score.
Anything close to 7 on IMDb is good enough for me, in my opinion.
Yep. There's no no tomato meter on this one, no critic score.
Oh, could be the subject matter, right?
It said something about it hasn't been released yet, but it came out in 2018.
Well, I was gonna say.
There are no critic reviews for it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. But it was a very, very good movie.
Did you see Fury?
No, that was the Brad Pitt tank one. I did not see it. I had what was that, the Brad Pitt one?
It was a Brad Pitt one.
Yeah. My concern with that one was Brad Pitt was talking this movie up and all that stuff, and basically it sounded like he made this movie for his kid, his one kid, or one son, Maddox, who was a crazy tank person and loved all this stuff, tanks, whatever. And I remember seeing an interview with Brad Pitt saying, "Oh, my son, and he loves these tanks, and he gave us all this technical advice. We brought him on to like guide us." And it's like, okay, this does not sound like it's going to be very good if you had a 13-year-old as your technical advisor for your movie. I don't care how much of a tank buff you are. When I was a kid, I really loved dinosaurs, but I was in no way going to give paleontology lectures to anyone.
I saw it. I thought I enjoyed the battles. I thought it was a good film.
Yep.
The tank battles blew me away. I cannot vouch for how accurate they were.
Yep.
But they did look impressive. Like I said, I have played World War II games with tanks in them, so I can understand how some of the ricochets, the ammo does work.
Yep.
But I do know that the life of a U.S. tanker was not long.
Yeah.
The Germans did have superior tanks and firepower that could shred Allied tanks, no questions asked. It was good, but so I enjoyed the tank battles, basically.
Yep. Okay. I'm just looking something up here just so I want to be correct on this.
I was trying to find more information about Fury, and it's very limited, actually. You know, it got basically 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was all right, did okay. They didn't say anything about technical consultants, historical accuracy, anything like that, so I can't comment on that, actually.
Somebody recently told me something that tanks got their names based on when they were discovered or when they were seen in battle. So like a T-34 would have been seen in 1934 and stuff like that. And I don't know if this is exactly true or not.
Don't think so, because
if it's the number of development or whatever. But from what this person told me, that a lot of the tanks that are being used right now are really old tanks still, or old designs.
The U.S. has the most modern tanks, basically, right now.
Yeah, but like the stuff going on in Ukraine and Russia are with old equipment.
Yeah, so silent on the Russia, there is this myth that the Russian army was unstoppable, invincible, and modernized. It turns out that they have failed to keep their equipment. So they are using basically tanks from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
We in Canada actually have tanks from the 90s we're still using.
Yep.
A lot of the tanks you see are older tanks. All I can think of basically is that I know the Abrams that the Americans used has been updated and modified. It's a modern tank. There are not too many modern tanks around. Maybe because of cost and need more than anything, because these things are not cheap, especially if you're on a battlefield, a tank basically, and you're spotted, you got 10 seconds to live, basically, what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know a lot of the old tanks that are out there are old. They're older tanks, which is interesting.
It is, because you expect, like, with all the cars that are put out every year, you would think that like someone in military R&D would be making a new tank every year.
Well, I can tell you, if
Or
I speak for the
5 years,
Canadians,
something.
I speak for the Canadians.
Yep.
We don't have a lot of money for our military,
Well, that's true. Yeah.
and a country's military is based upon their fighting style and landscape. I actually have friends with a lot of older military guys. The Canadian Armed Forces are not meant for armor battles, basically.
Yeah.
We would do better basically with light armored vehicles and personnel carriers because of our landscape and stuff like that. So a tank would not make much sense for us, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Americans have tanks. I'm not sure what the Israelis are using, because Israelis do a lot of city fighting. But
Yeah.
like I said, that's what I know. They're usually reflective of the country's monetary ability and their fighting style. Americans is perfect. They'll pump tanks out left and right.
Yeah.
For some reason. Anyways, but the Germans just have great tanks. The Germans just have good Leopard tanks still.
Yep.
I think they have modern tanks, but their tanks are smaller now. Their tanks used to be monstrous.
Yep.
They used to be heavily armored and heavily armed. But I think even they've shrunk down. Well, it's a cost and it's a cost factor. And basically, if you want a highly mobile fighting force, you got to either cut your tanks around,
Yep.
or have them move around quick.
Yep.
But yeah,
They're making them more fuel efficient or green.
well, that too. Yeah, like I said, that's my movies. I think of a lot of stuff, like there's been Dunkirk. There's a lot of films that come out I've actually skipped.
Yep.
But like I said,
There was Red Tails, which was the George Lucas one.
yeah, that didn't do that well, actually.
No, it didn't. No.
Which I think should have done better.
Yep.
Dunkirk were just slow. It's just like that. So I'll be interested to see if we get any more war movies in the future. I think we're going to get more war series than anything.
Yeah.
All Quiet on the Western Front, that was re-released, remade, was a complete shock to me. I do know that the original was popular and all that. I like to see why they remade it. Did they think they could get an Oscar out of it, or was it a labor of love? But I was completely shocked to see that be remade and re-released and win an Oscar, because I didn't think there was any appetite for it. But I do not think we're going to see a lot of war movies on the horizon. One, subject matter. Two, cost. Even with AI and all that, these films are technically epics.
Yeah.
Epics are not cost effective.
Yeah. And return on investment.
Yeah, precisely.
Yep.
Hollywood is looking to cut corners, especially with the strike and all that, and to save costs.
Yep.
Declining viewing rights. So like Netflix helped produce the All Quiet Western Front for various reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But no one's going to take a gamble on an epic like that. Like Napoleon, I'm surprised it's coming out.
Because it's got Scott's name behind it.
Well, he also did The Last Duel, and I thought that'd be the last time we see like that from Hollywood. But someone's taking a chance. I hope it does well, because it means we'll get more of these things.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a deal. He says, "I'll do No, he's not involved in Gladiator 2. I thought he said, I'll do Gladiator 2 if I can do
I'll
that.
let you make Gladiator 2 if I can do this one.
But he's not tied to it, because Stallone, to do Rocky Balboa, he had to do Rambo 5.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That was the deal. And they said, okay, we'll let you do it, but you got to do Rambo 5. He's like, okay, I'll do Rambo 5. Yeah. That's my only about war movies, dude, and TV shows.
Yep.
Oh, I just thought of something stupid. This is probably a bad idea, but I'll just say anyways.
All right.
What about space war films? I thought of Starship Troopers.
Yes. Yep.
I will watch that film gleefully.
Which was a fantastic anti-war film.
Great anti-war film. Super loosely based on the book. I mean, not even close to the book at all.
Yep.
I will watch that. And back in the 90s, there was a show called Space Above and Beyond, where it was humans fighting against some kind of bug-like aliens in basically a space war.
Yep.
Felt very Vietnam-y.
Yeah.
Short-lived because of the budget. Both of them are great. Are great pieces of media that I will rewatch. I think it's because, like you said, since it's not real war, like not real historic, I can watch it.
You can't you can easily take a side in that one.
Yep.
Because go human for all our flaws
That's
against
true.
the bugs. And there's no link to somebody who was involved with it
Exactly.
because it's completely fictional.
Exactly. I think that's
You
the main
don't
difference.
have an uncle who served or whatever in the war against the bugs. You have an uncle who served in the war against the Nazis, but not against space aliens.
You could make a war film so historically inaccurate that people would still find it depressing because there was something like Inglourious Bastards, right?
Yeah.
Example. So I just thought about that because I'll watch Starship Troopers.
Yep.
No problem. Well,
Yep.
Star Wars. Ha ha ha.
Ender's Game.
Yep. Ender's Game. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Those the further removed from reality, the easier it is to watch.
Yeah.
And Battlestar Galactica technically is a space war film.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I just thought about that.
Yep. You were talking about reboots at the end of your stream there. Yeah, you're talking about Magnum and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the new Magnum show, and I'm really enjoying the new Quantum Leap.
The Hawaii Five-0 works as well.
Yep. I was leery about the Quantum Leap. Not sure how they're going to handle it. I really enjoy it. Sure, it's not perfect. It's not like the original. The best thing about the original series was that you could theoretically watch them in any order.
Absolutely.
Because, yeah, sure, the ending Buzz would leap him into something else or whatever, but the next week's episode didn't have to start there.
Nope.
There was no long-running thread story really throughout the whole thing. This new series has an overreaching arc, and I think at times it spends too much time in the present with the team dealing with the politics of running Project Quantum Leap and stuff like that, whereas the old one was focused solely 45 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever it was, on the Leap adventure, whereas this one kind of splits it, so it's more like 35 minutes Leap and 15 minutes of whatever else, which I guess that's what they think the audiences want these days.
Well, thinking about reboots like that, I think the key is where reboots fail is when they try to do a continuation of the prior show. They would have brought back Scott Bakula and then try to spin on it would not have worked. That's why Knight Rider 2000 went down hard. Well, look at Magnum PI. We have Magnum, we have Higgins, we have crime solving.
Yep.
But it's not really to the old show. It just the feeling and setting is an updated.
Yeah. It's just the same show now.
Yeah. Hawaii Five-0, exactly. It does the same thing. The formula works.
Yeah.
Those two I thought are great reboots. But Knight Rider 2000 was total garbage.
Yeah. Well, Hawaii Five-0 was kind of a continuation from the original one because McGarrett was the father of the one Scott Conn character, I think it was.
Yeah.
They reference the original show. Magnum doesn't reference the original show at all. Quantum Leap obviously does reference the original show.
So the way they do it, though, like with Knight Rider 2000, they drag Kid out and
and put him in a 57 Chevy or something.
Yeah, I was like, God, what are you guys doing? This is
Done.
Absolute trash. Well, you've watched New Night Court.
I did. Yep.
I've seen clips.
Sadly, Richard Mall has passed away, so he'll not be making a cameo in the new season, which is too bad. I really wanted more of the original cast in there. I think that the charm of the original show was the zany cases and stuff, and the interpersonal relationships between the characters and that. Which they're focusing more on the characters now and less on the cases. I think if they want to make it more of a true sitcom, they throw more crazy cases in there and stuff like that.
What I've seen, basically, I think it's good only because John Larroquette is carrying the show a lot.
Yep.
I think they go back to the past too much.
Yep.
Like you said, more zany cases, more of that would work.
Yep.
The Frasier continuation is good.
Okay. Yep.
I love what they've done there.
Yep.
Whoever thought that up is brilliant because it is basically Frasier jumped into the future with Frasier being Frasier.
Yep.
It just works.
Yep.
It does overstay its welcome. I'm trying to think of other reboots that just basically I'm like, what are you guys thinking? Like, why even reboot this or remake this?
Yep.
I've seen shows where they replace actors, like Fantasy Island, replacing Hervé Villechaize with was it Jonathan Winters at one point or something like that? It was like, what the heck is going? Just try to get another a season out of a dead show here. Okay, so I got some.
Of course. Yeah.
I've got some worst 10 TV reboots of all time. Apparently, in 2003, there was a Dragnet reboot
With Ed O'Neill. I actually enjoyed that show.
Oh, really?
I saw it and it was decent, but I had never watched the original, so I knew of it, but I didn't have anything to relate to or whatever. I enjoyed it because it was basically a cop show. It was just basically, I want to say it was at the height of the Law and Order stuff, or near.
It was definitely getting there, yeah.
So it was another crime show for me, and it was entertaining because it wasn't Law and Order this time. And I thought Ed O'Neill did a pretty good job as Joe Friday.
Yep, they said it was there. My Fantasy Island landed on the list. 98. There was a reboot. It really worked hard to try to make it not like like the original.
Yep.
But then it really fell hard. So they did stuff like they didn't put the person in a white suit. They didn't have the plane to plane. Just fell right apart horribly.
Yeah.
They put Dallas on this list. And I kind of got to agree with them because I watched the Dallas reboot a little bit.
That's right. They did reboot it. I forgot. Yeah.
It wasn't so much a reboot, but a continuation. And it was kind of like, what was kind of weird? The original characters and storylines were great.
Mm-hmm.
The new one was like over the top, trashy, horrible.
Larry Hagman had died by the time, right?
He died in the second season.
Oh, okay. All right.
But man, was he, what I've seen on that show of him, man, was he great. He was still J.R. Ewing.
Yeah.
Just pull it out.
I prefer him as Agent Nelson.
Yeah. They did a Get Smart reboot. It lasted about a season.
Was that the one with Andy Dick?
Yep.
That was terrible, that one. Yeah.
Did a Melrose reboot. I don't know why they did a Melrose reboot, but they did that too. The Bionic Woman reboot, which I completely forgot about.
Yes. Yep.
I'll have to look into see what
the actress was.
I forget, but I know it didn't last that as long as it did. I heard good things about it though, but
it was the dark-haired girl. Wasn't she British?
I think so. I'm looking up real quick here.
Wasn't she? I want to say she was the girl that was in the one Doctor Who special. There played the countess that stole the chalice or whatever.
You are absolutely correct.
Michelle Ryan. Yes. Yeah.
Michelle Ryan. Correct.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anytime I see reboot or reimagining, I just cringe because I know it's not going to be. I expect the worst basically because I've not seen anything really come across as strong or good.
Yeah.
What surprised me though is I don't think it's quite enough for a reboot, but Strange New Worlds is technically a prequel to the original series Star Trek.
Yeah.
It's quite well done.
Yes. Did you finish watching season 2?
I did.
It was season 2, right? Or was it season 1?
It was season 2.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I absolutely enjoyed it.
That's right. Yes. Now I'm placing it. Yes. What did you think of the time travel episode?
Oh, I love that one. That was
the best episode. Holy crap! And what's his name? Paul Wesley?
I think so. Yeah.
He's my new Captain Kirk. I think he's fantastic.
I like what they're doing with it, and it's working out fantastically, smashingly.
Yeah. He's not playing it like Shatner.
Nope.
I mean, I love Shatner. I love him to death. But he's doing a fantastic job. Well, yeah. I'll punch him in the nose. Yep. Yeah. But he's doing a fantastic job. Yeah. And because he's Kirk. He's not Captain Kirk. He's James T. Kirk. He's not a captain yet. But he's not doing a Shatner imitation or anything like that. He's
No, he's
Kirk the way the character is written and was written. I mean, that time travel episode, if anyone hasn't seen it, I don't care. These are minor spoilers. We did get shirtless Kirk in the change room.
It was pretty smart.
The kissing scene there, we did get to see Kirk's women in soft lighting again, which was always awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty brilliant too.
Yeah.
But you know what? There hasn't been that many TV reboots I can really pick on. Other than I already talked about basically.
Yeah.
Maybe they've known. Oh, you know one that people forgot about? Heroes Reborn.
Oh yes. Well, that was what was that? 2000 late 2010s?
Yes, it was the 2010s.
There seemed to be a push to relaunch a bunch of these TV shows that had been off the air. Like they had the Will and Grace reboot, and they had the Heroes Reborn reboot. They had another X-Files reboot, I think, or continuation.
Continuation, yeah.
Or they called them like the event series things.
Exactly.
But going right.
Came out in 2015. It was absolutely trash out of the gate because the running was absolutely horrible.
Yeah. No.
There was a Kojak reboot in 2005 that failed.
Well, there's no Telly Savalas, right? So
exactly.
Yep.
There was a Charlie's Angels reboot in 2011 that failed.
I don't know why anyone would try and reboot that because the movies were struggling.
I'm going to put out something here that I think is highly challenging or highly
controversial.
Controversial, that's it.
Yeah.
The Bill Lair reboot was
controversial than Pussy Island.
The Bill Lair reboot was absolutely unnecessary.
Okay. Yep.
And I thought was dumb. You take a sitcom and make it a drama.
Yeah. Yeah.
F off.
Well, you could argue the same thing with Riverdale. It took a fun kids comic book and turned it into a drama show, a teen drama show, or whatever.
Well, I would argue basically Riverdale is a teen drama show with Riverdale slapped onto it. You know, you could put like Little Abner or any kind of comic cartoon and slap it onto it. It'd still be the same show.
Yeah.
Bel Air was a direct. I'm going to lift these characters from Philly and just change the narrative.
Yeah.
You know what? I agree with you. I agree that Riverdale was kind of like that, but Bel Air was already kind of established, like the Fresh Prince. They went totally 180 on that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think Bel Air was one of the worst reboots. I think. Like, why? Why even bother?
I never bothered. Yeah.
Again, it was basically I'm going to take a drama and slap the Bel Air onto it and move it into their space as much as I can.
Yeah.
Almost offends me as much as Wednesday, but Hemi Cakes will not let me forget that. I will rant on Wednesday forever.
I still haven't seen it there.
Ortega's good as Wednesday, but it felt like I have a horror murder show. I'm gonna slap on the Amis family. I'm gonna start throwing random Amis family things in your face. Just cause.
Yeah.
Why not just give me an Amis family show?
Yeah. Yeah. Give us the whole cast and the whole crew all the time.
Exactly.
But I would argue that Christina Ricci made the Wednesday character the most popular character of the show, of the family, and they know what side their bread is buttered on, and
I do
go
the
with
same.
the hot hand.
I do the same.
Go with the character that people want.
Yep, I do the same. Like, I'm not afraid to say I do it for the money.
Yeah.
My artistic integrity. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the Bel Air reboot was offensive.
Yep.
Monica Woman didn't mind too much. Dallas I thought had potential. Fantasy Island was like, we're gonna take Fantasy Island and not make it anything like Fantasy Island. That was a mistake.
I've got a reboot to talk about that's going to be our subject for Old Man Theater next week. We're doing another one. We're doing it fast. And it is to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who.
Ooh, That's right. Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, actually, November 23rd. And we're moving hell or high water. We're doing this one. we have.
We have to.
Yep.
Yeah.
And technically, it's a reboot. New Who, as they're calling it, the show that started back up in 2005, is a relaunch of the classic series because it had been off the air since 89, I believe it was, and 88 or 89. And it started it new for a whole new audience, a whole new generation.
Yet the BBC will say it's the longest running TV show.
Yep. Well, because it was in constant production of something, because there was the audio adventures that were filling the time from I can't think of their names now. Big Finish.
Big Finish, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and you had the novels and all that carried on the story and the narrative throughout the middle as well. Then you had the 99 TV movie of Paul McGann, and it never left.
Well, BBC says it wasn't canceled. It was just paused.
Yeah.
But I was going to say now, technically, The Simpsons are the longest running show continuously at 30 years with no break.
Yep.
But yeah, next Thursday we can do Doctor Who, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you saw my tweet or whatever it was that I put out there, that I did dig up my old comic books there to reread, because this is Beep the Meep, who was in the next episode, the Star Beast episode. So I wanted to refresh it because I remember reading the story way back when. These are the 1984 Marvel comics, and I'm curious how close to the comic books they're going to play the story.
I'm going to try and see if I get out to the comic book store and see if I can find the Doctor Who what issues you're missing.
Yes, 19 to 22, I think it is. I'm missing.
There's a huge one over on Maryvale that has everything. So if it's there, if it's going to be anywhere, it'll be there.
Okay. Yep.
19 to 22. I'll look at your tweet and I'll make sure I pick them up.
Yeah. I mentioned in there. Yeah. Which ones I'm missing there. Yeah. I'm shocked that I'm missing some. Yep.
Well, that's all I got, Switz, this time around.
Yeah.
So let's
not bad for no preparing, eh?
Don't worry, man. I covered for you. I was prepared.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll cover Doctor Who next.
Yep.
It's going to be a hard one to cover though, because there's so much.
We might need 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think we will. We talk old. Oh, we can talk old new.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
when is the anniversary episode airing? Is it the Saturday or the Sunday? And it's going to be airing on Disney Plus, I believe.
I want to say Saturday the 25th. Yeah, Disney Plus is going to be the new home of Who for Canada.
Yeah, which is shocking. So we're going to have to make sure we can all watch it now, because it used to be on the Space Channel or Sci-Fi, CTV Sci-Fi.
Used to be on Crave as well.
Yeah.
Which I have.
I have all the Blu-rays.
Yeah. So it's going over.
But for the new stuff,
the new stuff. The old stuff I don't know. The old stuff I think BritBox still has the right.
Still has it, but apparently it's going to be ending up on Disney Plus.
I couldn't see why not. It's probably cheap property to pick up.
Well, it's also on Pluto TV right now as well.
I know. I always throw on when I'm cooking. I throw an episode just to again another show you can watch out of order. Yeah. We'll do Doctor Who next
Thursday. Yeah.
Next Thursday.
Absolutely.
Anniversary. But yeah, I'll bring some stuff because I got something I want to talk about. The lost episodes.
Yep.
We'll talk about the Doctors themselves and all that.
They have recently. They're going to air, I think, leading up to the special, a remastered, redone version of the Daleks, the second story, but they've respliced it into a 75-minute serial movie length thing. So they've taken away the overlap and the serialness of it, because I wanted to say it was 6 episodes, but it's entirely possible that it was 4.
Maybe 6. Back then they went longer.
They did. It was also that was the second episode.
We can also talk about the Unearthly Child controversy too.
The Timeless Child.
Yes, that one. The Timeless Child.
Yes. So an episode. I'm just
See
looking
how
up
many?
here.
Yeah. I want to say 6. No, 26 4. Maybe it was 4. They're 20-minute episodes. 4 of them would be 80 minutes.
They were 20-minute episodes, and they were 7 episodes, it looks like.
Interesting.
7 episodes, 7 25-minute episodes.
Okay.
But remember, there was like 2 minutes of overlap on each one or whatever, right?
Yeah, precisely, exactly, because it was
Yeah.
like it was broadcast like a serial at one point.
Yeah.
You watch some.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it was all cliffhangers, all about making you tune in next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of funny. I remember watching on TVO, and it wasn't cliffhangers on TVO. They usually just on PBS for me. They just broadcast one whole long episode.
Yeah. They would just.
But the cliffhangers made the show, though.
Yeah.
That was part of the fun. But yeah, we do that next week, definitely.
Yep. There we go.
All right, final words.
One other quick little thing. If anyone out there is watching, I don't know.
Yes.
It is Movember still. We are on the 16th of Movember. I have not regrown my mustache or shaved it off or anything this year. I decided to walk 60 kilometers to remember the 60 men per hour we lose to suicide globally. And I believe I'm at like 55 kilometers so far or something like that. Or 50 odd kilometers so far.
You're pretty close, actually.
54. So I might even be able to finish that off tonight. Who knows? It's garbage night, so I could take my garbage for a walk and bring it back. But Movember is obviously a great foundation that is doing some great work to raise money for mental health initiatives, testicular cancer research, and prostate cancer research, the men's cancers as they are called. If you can support the foundation, you can make a donation at the link that's scrolling along the bottom of the page right now, or follow me on pretty much any social media, and you'll see for the rest of the month me pumping this up. I did just get some Movember merch in the mail, so there might be some prizes for some donators here.
Nice.
You might be able to win something as well. Yeah. That's about all I got. Obviously, it's a fantastic organization to help change the face of men's health. Very important issues, things that we don't often think about. Give yourselves a grab, guys, and check the boys downstairs. Make sure you don't feel any lumps. You can go online and find actual instructions on how to self-check yourself for testicular cancer. My instructions are pretty vague, not scientific. I am not a doctor. I barely play one on TV. I barely play one here.
Being over 50, I went and got my prostate check.
Yep.
And I had to go for a biopsy. Like I said, early detection will save your life, so do not be embarrassed.
Yep. Doctor had his finger up my butt there back in March. Apologize for every twitch and turn.
I gotta go for their biopsy too, because they found something the first time.
Yeah.
I was gonna go for one every 5 years. No, I gotta go for another one.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a few moments of discomfort could add years to your life.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So give a follow, give a donation if you can. If you can't, that's understandable. Times are tough right now. We all understand it. If you can, though, ask that you retweet some of this stuff or repost it, just to spread the word out there, so that people can see what's going on and can help out. My goal this year was to raise $715, but $240 so far. Last year I raised $650. I believe my target last year was only like $500, but we went over and above that. So every year I set a target of just a 10% increase over the previous year. So that's where I came up with the 715 for this year.
Nice.
Yep. That's about all I got there. I just wanted to wrap up with that. Everybody, if you're out there, subscribe, follow, link and like for all of our stuff. You can follow Uncle Gutty everywhere as well, and track me down. I am either Switz_TV or G_Switzer for my normal stuff. no, that's all we got for tonight.
Yep.
Next week,
and I'm Uncle Gutty everywhere, so it's hard to find. But yeah, next week, Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Absolutely.
Crib those notes, folks.
We will be in the vortex.
All right, good sir.
Sounds good. We will see you all in the future. Buckle up and have fun.
Have a good one, buddy.
Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the week. Yeah, we will go from there. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We will see you next time. Woo!